বরাকপাড়ের বাসি মোরা, নদী মোদের প্রাণ, স্রোতস্বিনী নদী মোদের শেখায় জীবনের গান। দুঃখে সুখে হাসি গানে মোরা বাঁধে জীবনের তান। শান্তিপ্রিয় মানুষ মোরা শান্তি ভালোবাসি, যতই মোদের হোক না কষ্ট সদাই মোরা হাসি। ছন্দগীতের মধ্য দিয়ে মোরা বলবো মোদের কথা, মিলবো মিলাবো আনন্দ ছড়াবো, পড়বো একই সুরে বাঁধা। এবং শেখ হাসিনা 3.0 প্রথম ভিজিট, এবং এটা দুজনেই সরকার গড়ার একদম প্রথম বছরেই ওরা সাক্ষাৎ করলেন, সেটা খুবই পজিটিভ। এটা একটা খুব বন্ধুত্বপূর্ণ রিলেশনশিপকে দেখাচ্ছে, এবং দেখাচ্ছে যে ভারত বাংলাদেশ প্রতিবেশী সুলভ সম্পর্কটা কিভাবে হওয়া উচিত সেটাই
আপনাকে লুকিয়ে রাখা ধুলার ঢাকা ধুইয়ে দাও।
আলোকের এই ঝর্ণা ধারায় ধুইয়ে দাও, আপনাকে লুকিয়ে রাখা ধুলার ঢাকা ধুইয়ে দাও। আলোকের এই ঝর্ণা ধারায় ধুইয়ে দাও।
Very simple person, very good at heart, very caring, and she cared for everyone around her. Joyeeta's affection and relationship with everyone was very cordial. Whether it is family members, whether it is colleagues, whether it is all her associates across the world. She always maintained a very cordial relationship, and most importantly, everyone still talks is that smile and that laugh. Both were very much infectious, as some use the term. Particularly both my nephews, they were very fond of her. They used to learn a lot from her, and so also my brother-in-law's nieces in Boston, they are also very fond of her. Every Sunday morning, which would be their Saturday evening, they would always speak to her, and she would just become like a childhood.
Mommy, I know that first time when I met you, so happy, fun and other things, but the first time you helped me you gave me the walkie-talkie, still I kept it safely. The day at my birthday, you have given me so many presents. You have supported me for my dance. Thank you for all that. I know God has done what to you, but this is not the right thing. God should have removed the COVID from you, that you, me and every part of our family live happily, grow happily and stay happily.
Mommy was a great person, to say the least. She always treated me with so much affection and so much love, which I can never ever forget. She was someone who was optimistic, open-minded, someone you could talk to about anything, and she'd reply to you in a good manner. I only have respect for her, immense respect for the work she did and just the person she was.
I love you, Joy Pishi. I will always love you. You never got mad at me. You always gave me what I wanted. You also gave me a name, a nickname, Bhutuni, and I will always remember that. And I will always miss you, and from now on my name will be Tanisha Joy Choudhury. I love you and I will really miss you.
Joy Pishi, I love you. I'll always remember you. From now on, my name is Nishka Joy Choudhury.
Generally in the house, I'm a little bit serious kind of a person. So all the laughter and keeping the house alive was a responsibility of Joyeeta. And even with all the stuff in our house and in the farm, you would always find her engaging with them, listening to their problems. To those people in her office, whether it's the gardener or the peons and all, she always used to interact. That innate quality of building up relationship, being cordial with everyone, endeared her to all. She could get a lot of things done just on a telephone call, simply because of the manners and the relationship that she has cultivated. In fact, my sister, with whom she interacted the last in her hospital bed, still cannot forget that moment where she smiled and held her hand.
সব সময় মনে হয় ও এখন বাড়িতে নেই, কোথাও বেড়াতে গেছে, অল্প পরেই আবার ফিরে আসবে। সে যে আর আসবে না, আমাদের ওকে ছাড়াই চলতে হবে সারা জীবনে, এটা যেন ভাবতে বড় কষ্ট হয়। ও মাত্র কয়েক বছরের জন্য, মাত্র 20 বছরের জন্য আমাদের এখানে আসলো, সংসারে থাকলো, সুখে দুঃখে জীবন কাটালো, আর হঠাৎ চলে গেছে। ও যেন একদম বিনি মিশ্রির মতো আসলো, থাকলো, চলে গেল, জীবনটাকে যা পারে উপভোগ করে গেল। আমরা জানি, সবাই জানি জাতস্যহি ধ্রুব মৃত্যু, কিন্তু এত কম সময়ে যে ওর মৃত্যুদিন এসে যাবে, সেইটা ভাবতে গেলেই বড় কষ্ট হয়। এটা কি হলো, কেন এরকম হলো, এটা তো হওয়ার কথা ছিল না। গেলবার ওর জন্মদিন আমরা হায়দ্রাবাদে খুব সুন্দরভাবে পালন করেছি। ছেলে মেয়ে, বউ, জামাই, নাতিরা এবং উপরি পাওনার মাও ছিলেন। খুব সুন্দরভাবে নিজেরার মধ্যে একদম হই হুল্লোড় করে সারাদিন আমরা খুব কাটিয়েছি। আর এইবার সব শূন্য।
She was very jolly. Of course, my daughter, everybody thinks that, but she is exceptionally jolly. She never quarreled with anybody. She used to dance all the time. So if I say no, you do it like this way, that way. And then she replied, "Eta amar sorojito." That means she made it by herself. This way, she was not very interested for study, but she is interested in dancing, recitation and all these things. And she never gave me any trouble. From her childhood, she used to dance very nice. All the time, any function in Karimganj, she used to do. She received so many prizes for that.
Your memories are always there everywhere. You have done tremendously well when you were here. We never got to know about all these things. Life went on. You were busy working. I was busy working. We used to interact sometimes. But as you left us, we realized what a tremendous amount of work you did, where you reached in your career. We could only get to know after your death. We had a relation which was not like on an everyday basis we were talking. It was once a while we interacted. You were busy, you were moving around the world, doing your work. I was busy with my work, but I know someone was there in Delhi, and whenever I went or whenever you came, we had a good time. Most of the times it was sweet, but it was at times little sour as well. But then those are the memories with which I live now. I was the one who was, now I should say I was fortunate or unfortunate, I don't know. But then that was the greatest memory, that you caught my hand, you smiled at me for the last time, and that memory will never ever get out of my mind. I close my eyes and I see you smiling from your hospital bed.
Her loud laugh, so infectious. When she laughs, it's like a stress buster for all of us. And second, her discipline. So very disciplined. It's not fair. It's absolutely not fair. It's too early. It's too early. He has called her there. But then life must go on. This is what we have learned from her. The work should go on, the life should go on. With her memories all around, we remember her daily, and she'll always be missed. She'll always be there in heart.
I wish I could have hugged you and said how much I love you. You will always be remembered as a happy and cheerful person. I really miss you and we love you a lot.
What can I say about my dearest little sister, Joy? I was very fortunate, and I am very fortunate that you are my sister. I have received unconditional love from you. And the amount of love I have received from you was unimaginable. Throughout my life, you have shown more care and more love for me than your own well-being. Even just before you died, I spoke to you when you were in ICU. Although you were struggling to breathe and you were coughing, the very last thing you told me, Dada Bhai, don't worry about me. I will be okay. But take care of yourself. Don't go outside without wearing mask.
দিলে বাইরে ফুটা তাল লইয়া তাল খাইও আট তালের বাস বাড়ছাইও বস্ত্রে বস্ত্রে ফুটা খাইও মা কুণ্ডমণির আয়ু পাইও আমি দেই আমার বাড়ির ফুটা
না মা কুণ্ডমণির আয়ু পাইওটা আগে
In March this year, we celebrated our 20th anniversary. And, we had spent a week to ourselves in the Nilgiris. And one evening we were chatting together because we used to be confined to the room as tigers used to move around, so you're not allowed to leave. And we were counting how many countries we visited. So she visited 28 countries, I visited 33 countries. And we're saying to ourselves that if the pandemic wasn't there, by now we would have crossed 50 each. It's an irony that, we won't be able to travel together. But those trips that we took together, they were so fun. That's why, I feel that someone who shared with us so many things, including those same tastes that took us to different places. I think, this is really very, very sad. It hurts me every time I think, I remember so many of the trips.
নারীকে আপন ভাগ্য জয় করিবার কেন নাহি দিবে অধিকার হে বিধাতা নত করে মাথা পথপ্রান্তে কেন রব জাগি ক্লান্ত ধৈর্য প্রত্যাশায় পূরণের লাগি দৈবাগত দিনে শুধু শূন্যে চেয়ে রব কেন নিজে নাহি লব চিনে সার্থকের পথ কেন না ছুটাবো তেজে সন্ধানের রথ দুর্ধর্ষ অশ্বেরে বাঁধি দৃঢ় বলগা পাশে দুর্জয় আশ্বাসে দুর্গম দুর্গ হতে
আমার যখনই ওর মুখটা মনে হয় সেই হাসি মুখটাই মনে হয় কোনো রাগ অভিমান দুঃখ ঝগড়া কোনো কিছুর স্মৃতি নেই এমনটাই ছিল জয়িতা আমরা ছোটবেলা সবাই কম বেশি ছড়া গল্প এসব লিখতাম তো আমরা ঠিক করলাম একবার একটা ম্যাগাজিন আমরা বের করব তো সবাই আমরা লেখা দিলাম তো জয়িতাকেও বললাম তুই একটা কিছু দে তো ও একটা নববর্ষের ওপর কবিতা লিখে দিল আমাকে ও লিখেছিল নববর্ষে নতুন জিনিস খেতে লাগে ভালো নববর্ষে নতুন জিনিস পড়তে লাগে ভালো নববর্ষে খাবো মোরা চিকেন আর চাইনিজ নববর্ষে পরবো মোরা গিলবক্স আর জিন্স এই কবিতাটা কেন মনে আছে কারণ এই কবিতাটা আমরা পড়ার পর বললাম এ কি জয়িতা নববর্ষে কেউ জিন্স পরে নববর্ষে কেউ চাইনিজ খায় কিন্তু জয়িতা হাসি মুখে বলল ওসব কিছু হয় না আমার যা ভালো লাগবে খেতে আমি সেটাই খাবো আমার যা ভালো লাগবে পড়তে আমি সেটাই পড়বো এমনটাই সহজ সরল ছিল জয়িতা
আমরা স্ক্রিনে দেখতে পাচ্ছি ডক্টর জয়িতা ভট্টাচার্য যুক্ত হয়েছেন আমাদের সঙ্গে নিউ দিল্লি থেকে জয়িতা সিনিয়র ফেলো অবজারভার রিসার্চ ফাউন্ডেশন
when we are talking about regional connectivity, it should have a multidisciplinary approach. So I will try to conceive regional connectivity, how it can really help to create the whole concept of South Asia. The most important was initially was that they wanted to create an independent state, independent country, carving out the Bodo-dominated areas in Assam. I think this is one of the major stumbling block when it comes to integration of South Asia. I strongly feel, it is just tip of the iceberg. There is a lot of potential that we can really benefit, because if you see the trade trajectory, it is 10 billion and with Bangladesh going. But if you see how the trade is going on, because with India actually trades with Bangladesh only 1%, and for Bangladesh the trade with India is just 10% of its total global trade.
Why in BIMSTEC is very relevant today, and we really see hope in BIMSTEC.
ये प्रधानमंत्री ने बहुत सही बात की। हम 50 साल में हम लोग आगे कैसे हमारा हीरक जयंती होगा इस संबंध की, उसी की बात करते हैं।
Everywhere in a world of globalization, we try to think everything with numbers.
There is the ethnic angle to it. We can't overlook it.
In 2006, when Joyeeta finished her PhD, we were talking one evening about what she should do the next few years as career. Obviously, she had a great knack for research, and her PhD was on nuclear non-proliferation. So my father-in-law, late Nripati Ranjan Chaudhary, ex-member of parliament, he was also here. And naturally the discussion went around political and a strategic space where she could work. And then we visited our former president, late Pranab Mukherjee, and he said, no, you have to work on the India-Bangladesh relationship, because that's a very important relationship that we have. So that was a decision on a career which took her to Bangladesh many times, to Myanmar a few times. Basically the eastern neighbors of our country, that's where her work was. And very interestingly, wherever she went, she made friends. Those friendships helped her so much in her professional life that every time I used to go to Bangladesh, I used to see that we could never have the opportunity to have a meal in a hotel. Every day somebody was inviting us. Similarly in Myanmar, when I had gone, I had seen the relationship that she had built even there, where people were so enthusiastic in meeting her. Even here in Delhi, when she moved around in the strategic community, in the various missions, the diplomatic missions, the annual day, the national day receptions per se. I could see her so busy. Every third person who came in vision would actually stand and talk for 10 minutes. Joyeeta had a phenomenal connect, and that is what I used to admire, that in such a short time, from getting into foreign policy and strategic research, she could build up such friendships which are now even enduring much beyond her passing away. That I get a call almost every day from someone in Bangladesh, still trying to recollect how good times they had with her.
When it came to Bangladesh, the one person you went to without fail was Joyeeta. She was our undisputed authority on all matters relating to that important neighbor of ours. Subsequently, when I went to Bangladesh on assignment, my interaction with Joyeeta became more frequent. She was a part of several Track 2 and think tank interactions that we carried out with Bangladesh. Her knowledge of the subject and her contribution to facilitating a better understanding between our two neighboring countries was appreciated by all. I know that Joyeeta was immensely popular in Bangladesh and had as many friends in that country as she probably had back at home. Joyeeta's personality was unique. She came across as someone who was always smiling and happy, always receptive, positive, and willing to extend a helping hand to all concerned. Her infectious smile and pleasant demeanor were part of her wonderful personality. I can say that Joyeeta was elegance with simplicity, humility with grace, passionate and committed, a wonderful friend, a compassionate soul, and a great human being.
She was a frequent visitor to Bangladesh and was a very active participant in Indo-Bangladesh relations, was a very active enthusiast in all aspects of the relationship. I recall her active participation in the Indo-Bangladesh dialogues involving the Observer Research Foundation and the Bangladesh Enterprise Institute. We will certainly remember her in Bangladesh for all the hard work and dedication that characterized Joyeeta's work in promoting friendly relations between our two countries. Her great love for her homeland, Assam, she always had time for the Indian Northeast, and I think one very important feature of her devotion to strengthening Indo-Bangladesh relations was her interest in promoting better relations and strengthening cooperation between Bangladesh and the Indian Northeast, in particular between Bangladesh and Assam.
Eulogies and obituaries are difficult moments. There are bittersweet moments. We miss the person whom we are remembering, but it is also a moment to celebrate and remember the great contributions of the person. Joyeeta is one such person whom we fondly remember. She has touched the lives of many people. As I had said on earlier occasions, Joyeeta came from the northeast, from Assam, from Silchar, and she and her husband really made a place for themselves in very restrictive and exclusive circles in India, the academic circle, the think tank circle, the entrepreneur circle. And I think her greatest contribution has been to bring into limelight the northeast of India and its international connections with Bangladesh. I think that is Joyeeta's everlasting contribution. She highlighted the importance of connectivity between Assam, Meghalaya and Bangladesh. She highlighted the importance of the Northeast to India's foreign policy, the importance of Bangladesh for Northeast.
In her, I found a person who was very giving, very compassionate, very sensitive, very kind-hearted, amazing soul.
She was a great scholar and a great advocate of Bangladesh-India friendship and partnership. She understood the neighborhood, and particularly Bangladesh, very well. We not only lost a great scholar, we lost a great soul, a great friend of Bangladesh. I can only pray that wherever she is, wherever my Joyeeta Bodhi is, let her be in peace. May she rest in peace. Joyeeta Bodhi, Joyeeta Bhattacharjee will never forget you. You cannot die. You do not die.
A beautiful face, Joyeeta, a scholar, Joyeeta. Beauty and brain were in complete unison in her personality. Joyeeta had so much insight into the Bangladesh-India relationship. She knew the ins and outs of this bond. She knew the challenges. She knew the possibilities. At the end of the day, she was a great believer in the potential of our mutual relationship.
I will miss Joyeeta deeply. I will miss cutting the cake in the office, on her birthday and then the next day on mine. We were, in some sense, fellow September borns, having very similar demeanors as well. I always had a very special connection to her. But I think this is a day which is undoubtedly one that we'll miss her, but also a day to really also embrace the very meaningful life that she lived.
Both of us hailing from the Northeast had a special love for the region. Although Joyeeta was born in Delhi, but essentially we both belong to Assam. And we have some lovely memory traveling across the whole region, meeting people from different cultures, different tribes. And we were just planning, to make an extensive tour of the Northeast this, winter. And unfortunately, that's not going to happen. However, as her work carried a lot of importance for Northeast from a foreign policy point of view, and activist policy of the government is also moving ahead. So I intend to do something, around the Northeast, around all of the interests that she had for the region. We had a very harrowing time when both of us were detected with COVID-19. Initially, the tests showed us negative, and possibly that was a reason, that we possibly could have had a delayed treatment. But nevertheless, we went in two different directions. Initially, we were in the same hospital. For 2 days, we were in separate hospitals till the time I again got admitted in Gangaram. Both of us were in the ICU, just 2 rooms away from each other, but we never met. This is something that impacts me, every time I'm sitting and trying to remember. I always remember, that the loss definitely of a companion is there, but the loss of a very good human being, a very clean human being, a person of very high integrity, a person who would never compromise, that's something, that impacts me. And that's where I feel that, the society also gets impacted, because you miss, quality people very many times these days. We have traveled a lot together. We have enjoyed those trips, and now when I sit here and think about those trips, I only feel that, I'll not be having her anymore as my traveling partner, as someone, with whom I used to enjoy those trips where, we could be to ourselves. So many of those cities that we visited, every time now when I'll go, I would always feel, her presence, that she is not there.
Joyeeta, this was not how we planned that we would meet. We had planned to actually meet at the next Oscar ceremony. This was not fair on me, on our friendship. So, Joyeeta, I have with me Ranajit, and we shall play for you Phule Phule, Dhole Dhole, which inspired Tagore from Robert Burns' poetry, and one of your favorite places, Edinburgh, Glasgow, UK. Ye Banks and Braes, that was the Scottish poem that inspired Tagore to create Phule Phule. not be the same place without you, Joyeeta. You have left your mark at this young age. May you be happy in heaven amongst the angels. May you look over us always.
আমার সকল ক্ষুদ্রতা হতে বাঁচাও প্রভু উদার। হে প্রভু, শেখাও নিচতার চেয়ে নিজ পাপ নাহি আর। যদি শতেক জন্ম পাপে হই পাপী, যুগ যুগান্ত নরকেও যাপি। জানি জানি প্রভু, তারও আছে ক্ষমা, ক্ষমা নাহি নিচতার। ক্ষুদ্র করোনা হে প্রভু আমার হৃদয়ের পরিসর, যেন সমঠাই পায় শত্রু মিত্র পর। নিন্দা না করি ঈর্ষায় কারো, অন্যের সুখে সুখ পায় আরো। কাঁদি তারি তরে অশেষ দুঃখী, ক্ষুদ্র আত্মা তার।
Even these many months later, I'm still finding it difficult to accept that Joyeeta is no longer with us. I've known Joyeeta for close to 15 years, from the time I joined ORF in July 2007. We would often chat several times a day, in fact, about all manner of stuff. Sometimes it would be to get a second opinion about some work stuff or how she should handle a particular situation. Just about anything: food, clothes, music, everything. She was a dear friend who was always so conscious of everyone's well-being, a very health-conscious person. Joyeeta's passion for culture and music is again well known. The one regret I have is that I never managed to go for any one of her dance programs, despite her invitations. And it's a tragic loss for me personally, and to the ORF, and of course to the larger strategic community. She was so passionate about her work on Bangladesh and India's Northeast. And it was amazing how she single-handedly built such a wide network of connections in both countries. Her work was so important, so insightful and thoughtful, and of such depth. Beyond our personal loss, academically and for the policy community that deals with these issues, it's a huge loss for all of us. Joyeeta was such a thoughtful and generous person. I have now a fair collection of the Assamese Meghla and Dhakai Jamdani sari, courtesy Joyeeta.
It's hard to find the words to adequately describe somebody as special as Joyeeta. Whenever I think of her, I think about the first time we met, and she had biggest smile and the kindest sparkling eyes, and it was so representative of the person that she is, just warm and generous and giving. And you know, for the brilliant mind that she had and the scholarly ways she contributed, she was the most humble and unassuming person in the room. And she had such, you know, a special and unique and progressive perspective on everything, on global matters, down to women's matters, down to, you know, my husband being too hard on our children. Every day on forward, we will do our best to live in a way that honors her and is inspired by her, because she bettered every single person that she touched. And to have known her is to be a better person, truly. So Joyeeta, we love you. Thank you. We'll remember you always.
Joyeeta was one of the first people I met in India about a dozen years ago, and we soon made friends and remained so till her very end. I adored her way of working because it was passionate and done with uttermost dedication and love. She was all in all a perfect mix between intelligence, wisdom, knowledge, and her approach to life was that of a respectful, loving person. She would never talk badly about anybody or anything. She accepted life as it was, and she was such an adorable person.
I was also very impressed how she managed as a woman to establish herself as a leading scholar in the field, which is very male-dominated. She would support others wherever it was possible, and she was also always positive, always had a cheerful attitude, and she would not get influenced by negativity.
Among other things, Joyeeta was a wealth of knowledge on all aspects touching upon the India-Bangladesh relationship. And over the course of my posting in India, I found myself regularly reaching out to her to better understand changing dynamics and to make sense of bilateral developments taking place around us. Her analysis was always balanced, impartial, nuanced, and more often than not proved itself accurate sooner rather than later as time went on. Joyeeta was an invaluable resource to better understand what was happening, why it mattered, and the impacts these issues were having locally and with neighboring Bangladesh. Conversations with Joyeeta were always both enlightening and enjoyable.
I always appreciated Joyeeta's focus to detail and her questions that she always had for the various speakers and professors that we dealt with when it came to how foreign policy could be effective in India as well as the US. And for the amount of time she spent interacting with these professionals, not only taking information from them, but in many ways challenging them to answer things in a more thorough fashion that she can use.
আমার জয়ীশ ছোটবেলার গল্প মনে হলে এই কথাটাই মনে পড়ে। আমি ওকে নিয়ে ডেটিংয়ে যেতাম, আর ওকে সব সময় আমার থেকে ছিনিয়ে নিয়ে চলে যেত। অ্যান্ড শি ওয়াজ সো পপুলার অ্যামং মাই ফ্রেন্ডস। আমি যখন বিকালবেলা বন্ধুদের সাথে পার্টি করতে যেতাম, সেও আমার সাথে থাকতো, আর ওকে নিয়ে কাড়াকাড়ি হয়ে যেত। আর শি বিকেম মাই মোস্ট ডেডিকেটেড ফ্রেন্ড। কিছু একটা ঘটলেই আমাকে বলতো, শম্পি আজকে এটা হয়েছে, শম্পি আজকে সেটা হয়েছে। যেদিন মায়ানমারের মার্শাল ল হলো, ঠিক দুপুর 12টায় আমাকে ফোন করে বললো, শম্পি মায়ানমারের মার্শাল ল এসে গেছে, লোকগুলোকে মেরে ফেলবে, কি হবে রে, কি হবে। Our discussion was basically based on so many things, sociology, history, একটু পড়ালেখা, একটু পরিচর্যা, current affair. She used to be a lot of fun for me.
What made her stand out, in my opinion, was her positive nature and her even disposition. Was she ever furious? I cannot remember. But she was always cheerful, helping people, and cheering people on. She was so good in her chosen field of work. She became a celebrity of sorts.
It's been hard not having her around, not speaking to her every now and then. আমার সঙ্গে ওর অনেক স্টোরি ছিল, কিন্তু একটা স্টোরি ওর সবথেকে প্রিয় ছিল। আর ওটা ছিল আমি যখন ছোট ছিলাম, ওকে আমার মা আর মাসি আমাকে দেখে রেখে ভালো করে দেখে রেখে রাখার জন্য বসিয়ে গেছিল। আর আমি নিজের উপরে তেল পাউডার সবকিছু মেখে টেখে বাড়িতে হুলস্থুল করে দিয়েছিল। আর ও চুপচাপ বসে আমাকে দেখছিল, এসে ওকে বলছে তুই কি করছিলি? ও বললো তোমরা আমাকে বললে ওকে দেখে রাখবে, তো আমি দেখছিলাম ওকে।
ছোটবেলায় একসঙ্গে আমরা রবীন্দ্র জয়ন্তী করতাম। ও যখন একটু বড় হলো তখন ও একা একা সিনেমা দেখতে যাবে বন্ধুদের সঙ্গে, তখন এসে আমাকে বলতো, সীমা দিদি তুই আমাদের সঙ্গে চল, তাইলে মা আমাকে যেতে দেবে। এরকম কত স্মৃতি, কত কথা। ও শত ব্যস্ততার মধ্যেও আমাকে প্রায়ই ফোন করতো, ফোন করে ও সব গল্প করতো, কোথায় যাচ্ছে, কি করছে, কোথায় ঘুরতে গেল, সব গল্প করতো।
My dearest Joyeeta Didi, I can't believe it has been 4 months since you left us. I miss you very, very much. I wish I could still get my birthday call from you this year. I have so many memories, so many conversations with you that I remember today. I know we spoke a lot about mental health over the last few months. You wanted to do an online course on mental health and help other people. I wish we still had time for that. Thank you for all your love and affection for me. I'll always love you and miss you. You will always be a part of our lives. May your soul rest in peace and Shubhimalda remain strong.
बड़ा छोटा का भावना रहता है, सबके साथ बराबर बिहेवियर था और हमेशा सबसे पूछा करते थे, जितने नीचे लेवल के लोग थे सबसे पूछती थी कैसे है आपका घर कैसे है, परिवार कैसे है, बच्चे कैसे हैं। हमेशा मुस्कुराते रहते थे। आज उनका याद आ रहा है बहुत ज़्यादा और हमेशा उनकी कमी खलेगी।
I know Joyeeta since she got married to Sobimal, because I know Sobimal before that. I have a lot of thoughts and processes which we went into during all those years. But the one thing which I remember till today, when Sobimal bought his first house, which is at Nijbadam College, she was at Karimganj at her hometown. I made a call from Sobimal's phone and I only said, "Tu aaj gharwali ban gayi." That was the only thing I remember. But I had good relations as a family with them, as a person, as a human being. A great lady. I'm missing her a lot.
So proud of her. She'd represent our nation when she traveled internationally for her meetings. Amazing. I'm so proud to have her as a friend.
I know her from her childhood till her last days. She made her presence globally by her simple and bold nature.
যখন থেকে দাদার সঙ্গে বিয়ে হয়েছে তখন থেকে আমি সঙ্গে আছি, বাজার হাট রান্না বাড়া সব কিছু করতাম, শপিং মহল বাজার সবই করতাম, একসঙ্গে ভালোভাবে থাকতাম, ভাই বোনের মতো থাকতাম, ভাই বোনের মতো থাকি। আর কিছুদিন আগে জ্বর আসছিল, আমি রাখিয়ে বাড়িতে গেছি, আসি আর দেখতে পারিনি আর কি, আমি ভাবতে পারিনি যে আসি দেখতে পারবো।